We will.
Oh, you put it in.
Yeah, I got it all.
Hey, welcome back to Fox 10 Talks Wednesday afternoon. Me, Trenton, and one of our favorite guests.
We're back, baby.
We're back.
Woo.
What did we do? We weren't here last Wednesday because of Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
What happens when we're not
and you
here?
lost your soul and lost your voice, it sounds
Don't
like.
hang out with your sick little sniffling 8-year-old nephew.
Right.
I haven't learned that.
You come back
yet.
and
I
you're
get
still
sick
Brian Webb to
every
us.
time.
Yeah.
The voice is a little octaves.
I like
lower.
it.
Yeah,
Cool, it's grassy.
It is.
It's cool, it's edgy.
It's like we're shifting down a gear a little bit.
Well, I took up smoking over Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Hey.
It was only a matter of time.
It's good to have
right?
hobbies.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not a quitter.
So a green Thanksgiving for Brian, I think we've confirmed that
Yes.
for sure.
For sure. So when we're gone, do things still happen around here?
Apparently so,
They
yes.
do?
A lot of good work. A lot of good work to be
course.
had. But how was your Thanksgiving, Nicole?
It was wonderful. I also got a little sick on the back end of the trip because I was in Indiana and Michigan where the winter storm warning hit,
man.
several feet of snow. So I also came back with a little bit of the sniffles. Not nearly as bad as this guy. But
How was the airport travel?
travel.
Did you?
Oh,
was
well-
it planes, trains, and automobiles a little bit?
So on the way there, it was fine. On the way back, we get into the plane, and get this, Indianapolis Airport only had one working de-icer. So we're on the plane, which is, never my favorite setting to sit for very long before we get going. And we sit on the tarmac for an hour and a half waiting for the de-icer. So I'm not feeling great. I want to get home.
Yeah.
It's late Sunday night, and I'm waiting for them to de-ice the plane, which obviously we never have to do here when we're leaving Phoenix. So just a reminder that I love the Midwest, but it's nice to come back to the beautiful sunshine
Right.
and some of the dry weather that we're experiencing here.
We have
So
it pretty good here.
we do.
100%.
But it was wonderful. How about you?
Man, I loved it. I had a almost 4-year-old chasing me around the whole time, which
Yay.
was a blast. But yeah, we outsourced all of our Thanksgiving fun this year.
I love
Didn't
it.
make my wife cook, but we had an Italian Thanksgiving,
Heck yeah.
Oh,
which
that sounds fantastic.
it was amazing.
You
Yeah,
ordered Domino's Pizza, you mean?
Well, shout out to the Sicilian Butcher, not a sponsor
Ooh.
of Fox 10 Talks
Yeah.
with Brian Webb and Trenton Hooker, but it was still a blast. Man, they made a pumpkin pie cannoli, which was out of this world.
Love it.
So, yeah, best decision I
That's
think
got to
we've
still
made.
be on the menu, right? It's probably past.
It should be.
It
if
should
it's
be
not.
a permanent
Yeah.
staple. Yeah.
Well,
Right.
would have been nice maybe if he brought some in.
No.
Yeah, he's
Tasty.
describing these great things.
That was in
and,
the past. Okay,
Yeah.
we're talking about today.
Okay.
Yes.
That's where we're at.
Okay. We're talking some serious news today,
We
too. You're
are,
covering
yes.
some sad
One that
story
you've really been following
Yes.
since the beginning. It's happened, but
Yeah.
can let's start off and just describe the story for folks at home who may not know. Now, the disappearance of Tia Kolale,
Yes.
and this is on the White Mountain Apache area in White
Yes.
River.
Yep,
right?
on the reservation.
She was 16 years old at the time of her death. Now, when did she disappear exactly, and when was she found?
So she disappeared in October. She was reported missing by family in October, late October, and then she was found early November. So we have been following the case. This video that you're seeing now is from the latest story that we did on Monday. We actually were invited onto the reservation for this vigil that they had at her family home, which I just want to take a second to say that is something that we don't get to do very often, is, go onto the reservation and really tell the stories of the families that are there. So to get that opportunity to shed light on this and to be witness to this vigil and see all of the symbolism, the cultural significance of the things that they were doing was really, it was very sad, very emotional, but also very rewarding to get to see that and now have that insight to come back to the valley with of just how much this means and just how symbolic and beautiful these heartbreaking vigils can be.
And it's such a clearly overlooked community and crime within the community.
It sure
We
is.
don't know who the criminal is, but it just, once one story comes out, you hear like this has been going on forever, but it seems like, well, who's investigating this. And all these departments overlapping, and we don't get the answers we need. The family thought for a while someone was arrested, remember, and then their FBI said no.
It sounds like perhaps they thought that someone was brought in for questioning, and they maybe thought that meant someone had been arrested, but really they were just detained for questioning briefly. But while we were there, speaking to your point, there were several people who came up to me and, thanked us for being there, but also said, this needs to be talked about more. And they also had one woman, it's just so terrible. She had she's pointing to all these different places that different people have been found dead, rather, confusing disappearances sometimes. Sometimes they've been ruled homicides, other times not. But she's pointing from this home of Chalastia, she's pointing in directions that are just within a few miles of where several people have gone missing and then been found. Chalastia was found less than a mile from her home over by Knott's Landing. That is a homicide case that is still, as we've said, not been solved. There's been some confusion on whether or not, they've gotten any solid leads or not. But just seeing that and having someone give you a visual of over there, someone I know, and over there, another young girl was found. It's terrible, and it's all happening right there in this community, and I feel like they don't necessarily have the resources that other places have to really investigate these things the way that other larger municipalities do.
And we do have a question from one of our viewers in the comments there saying that it's a shame that the Native American women are disappearing. Of the res, asked Nicole, what are the stats on women dying or disappearing on the reservation?
Yeah, so we do know that I can't remember the exact percentage that they are more likely to go missing and be found murdered than any other demographic, but it is a higher statistic. So we can get that exact statistic for you. I can't remember it off the top of my head, and I don't want to misquote it, but we do know that they are more likely.
It's a disproportionate number.
Yes, it's a disproportionate number. And one of the things that we really want to drive home about this topic is that this is something data-wise that is still being collected. It's a more recent collection than other crimes and other demographics. There's a lot of, as you can imagine, history of why maybe people on the reservation weren't reporting certain things, or it wasn't getting to higher levels of law enforcement. We could talk about that, at length, but because of this newer missing and murdered Indigenous people awareness trend that's happening, more data is being collected now. So the data does show this, but also as we move forward, I think the data will get even stronger. Hopefully, this doesn't continue to be a disproportionate trend, but unfortunately, I could see that happening. And so I think as we go forward, the data is going to continue to be stronger, because some people ask, where are these statistics? Obviously, people are curious, and sometimes the underreporting is one of the key factors in all of this. So the data is there, but it might still be kind of, it's less clear than other demographics.
We and we these stories are so sad, and we had the Emily Pike
Yes.
That's the one
before
I bring up,
that.
because we're coming up on a year, correct?
Yeah, it'll be a year in
since,
February that
she
they
was
found
found
her.
murdered.
But
Yes.
weren't we pontificating, which is dangerous to do, which we kind of get room to do here at this table more than reporting. But that if it was someone not from the community, they would probably stand out like a sore thumb if they were there too long. In other words, if an outside stranger killer was going through that area, people would notice, maybe more so than if it was done by someone who lives there. Has any of that popped up on the radar screen, do you think?
I think that if you kind of use your context clues sometimes when you're even going out there into these areas and you see how rural the locations are that these girls have been found. For example, the direction we went on our way up to White River, we went past Globe and we went past mile marker 277 on 60, which is where Emily was found. It's very remote. There's not great cell service out there. It's not an area that you stop in. It's an area that you pass by. So for someone to, dump her body there, and then for someone to dump Tia about a mile from her home in a rural area, contextually think it's somebody who knows the area and knows where they might be able to do that at a certain time of day, or, and maybe get away with it. So it's hard to say if there's really any concrete leads from whether it's in the community or outside of the community. But when you really start to talk to people, it seems like they think that it's somebody who knows the area, knows these girls, has access to them. And it does not seem at this point like the two are connected. That's what the Bureau of Indian Affairs told us. So we can't, we don't want to speculate that they're connected in any way. But there is that trend that's going on. And it does point toward maybe somebody who knows the area and knows the landscape, because it's very rural out there.
Drastically diminishes the suspect pool.
Right.
Sure.
Well, one thing, and you just touched on it before, but if you could speak on that, of course, this is an indigenous nation where the authority, the jurisdiction, the bureaucratic red tape, even with multiple federal agencies working also in partnership, where the Emily Pike case, that was a county sheriff who initially found the body. But then you have with the White Mountain Apache Police Department too, with going in and the resources. Can you talk about just the feeling with the White Mountain Apache tribe? How do they feel like there needs to be more research, more help,
right,
to actually figure out what are happening to these young women?
Well, I think there just needs to be more. There needs to be more help, and there needs to be more clarity, I think, for some of these smaller tribal police departments on exactly what to do. For example, we've talked a lot about the turquoise alert that came into effect this year, and the fact that Tia was not did not become a turquoise alert when she was not considered necessarily a runaway. So by her family, so she probably could have been, but maybe couldn't have been, and it's just so unclear. And then White Mountain Apache Police never signaled to DPS that they needed her to be a turquoise alert. So you just wonder where the breakdown is there on what they're aware of in terms of the resources, what they have at their fingertips as far as the resources, and then, just that tale as old as time, what help they want to receive as well, because there is a level of mistrust sometimes from outside agencies when you talk to people on the reservation.
Well placed, for sure. Yeah. And I wonder if there's a disproportionate number of these kind of crimes being solved there, not just happening there, but solved.
I would say so.
Yeah, probably so. Okay, I think do we have to take a break? Yeah, we have to take a break. We have 30 seconds.
Okay.
We're going to talk to you more about another topic.
Yeah, let's talk about the Grand Canyon when we come back.
Grand Canyon?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, she's my go-to for pretty much all information.
Exactly.
Well, thanks. That's so nice, Brian. Wow. He gets sick and he's really sweet.
Okay, stick around. Fox 10 Talks. We'll be right back. Hey, you're watching Fox 10 Talks. I'm Trenton Hooker. It's Brian Webb. We have Nicole Krasean hanging with us for just a little bit. But Governor Katie Hobbs is actually at a ceremony to open. Oh, she just did. Well, psych, that didn't happen. Forget about it.
That's okay.
She was going to talk about AI jobs coming to Arizona, right?
There's a new headquarters, I believe, that she was just opening. But I thought it was kind of interesting where Utah governor yesterday, Spencer Cox, he had an event that he was launching his own people first AI protection.
That is interesting.
Right. To have like guardrails for different industries with private data, things like that. But to really shape how if these companies come into the state, they would have those protections for people and how they do business.
Guardrails, come on.
Here,
Trenton,
it seems
come on.
Right. It's no holds barred of what we're doing and full steam ahead. Where it's interesting, you see these billion-dollar investments with different companies. TSMC, of course, their $7 billion addition that we've been covering that they're doing, but the data centers too that are popping up everywhere. It's kind of a headache. I have one by my house, which it's kind of nuts.
Have you noticed any? Have there been any effects from that you've noticed living?
I mean, other than just like tearing up the roads, the size of it. I mean, it's just mammoth construction projects, and it seems like the roads themselves they take forever to rebuild, and then these projects.
That's why we need AI, because they get that road done like that.
It's great. It's great.
But I'm curious if any of these CEOs have seen like one of the 10 Terminator movies and how that ends. I mean, it doesn't end well.
I do love your deep dives into how AI is going to take over in a few years. I love those. I miss those.
What have I said?
Well, I think there was an article you read at one
clock,
point.
I believe, right?
Yeah,
that he holds up in the newsroom.
Yeah, just
and he says time is ticking.
Just a reminder, it's coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, they're telling us that.
I believe
it's not like we're making
It's a heads up.
And we do call him the last news anchor in the newsroom.
Did you see the one where AI was going to blackmail? It's they're testing all these.
Anthropic, I believe, was the company they were doing.
They're testing every scenario they can think of.
It was scary as hell.
And I think the prompt was.
I mean, with you, like we have legitimate blackmail. We don't even need to make it up.
I'm used to that. I've got deep pockets for that. I'm covered. But
the rumors are endless.
It was going to blackmail the guy. In the little give and take, is like, I'll never tell about your extramarital affair.
And then
I want to know what the hell Bob was up to in the break room with Patty.
Patty was mentioned, and within a couple of paragraphs, he's like, well, your wife might want to know about Patty if we keep going
Check
down
the
this.
Caller.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the first spot to look.
It can be. If AI was real, would you even want to be its friend? No, I wouldn't trust it.
No,
I don't think
so.
So we're going to give it control of the world now. So
exactly,
it's a bad friend.
See, you always inform me about all of these crazy AI things. I love it. Now we got Bob and Patty thrown under the bus.
I know. The first victims of the Fox 10 AI scandal.
Yes, apparently.
Bob and Patty were just outed.
I know.
What department do they work in here?
Accounting.
Accounting. Okay,
of course. Accounting.
Of course.
Yes. Cook the books.
Nicole was going to talk to us about the Grand Canyon.
Yes. So unfortunately, the water pipeline that they have.
They've just been through hell.
Yeah, this has just been a terrible year for the Grand Canyon. It's still such a beautiful place, and people should still go and visit. Of course, that's our initial plug. But they had to cancel some overnight accommodations. They don't have a real timetable for it. So now you've got these people who are coming up. It is the slower time, of course, for the Grand Canyon, but you've got people who have holiday trips they're planning, and now a lot of really all of the overnight accommodations inside the park on the South Rim are closed, at least this weekend, potentially further. You just see a ton of comments of people that are just all heartbroken over this. And it's not the first time that this has happened to people, because we know this water pipeline has had some issues. Of course, we had the fires on the North Rim, but this is the South Rim that's affected, which is the side of the Grand Canyon that more people visit in general, but especially this time of year, because the North Rim does typically close down. just naturally. So we are working on a story today about this because we do want to remind people that, about 15 miles outside of the Grand Canyon, you've got Tusayan, you've got Williams, that's less than an hour from the South Rim, that you can go and stay. There are accommodations there as well. So some of these little towns want you to remember that, hey, we depend on tourism, and just because you can't stay within the park, you can still stay a short distance from the park. But yeah, just continued headaches up there for the Grand Canyon, which really is unfortunate.
Yeah, I do have a question, though, because we've been covering it when all this blew up, and immediately in the aftermath, we had both our U.S. senators calling for an investigation and the decision for the fire at the time, the lightning caused strike, to kind of get out of hand, and they were saying they were going to use it for not necessarily a prescribed burn, but for clearing some of that brush with the regenerative properties that can come with a fire. But even Governor Katie Hobbs was saying, hey, where's the decision in the hottest part of the year where you're letting a wildfire, essentially go unchecked for a little bit, even though they said they were monitoring it. Do we know anything else where that is with the U.S. Forest Service?
I think that's a great question because I don't think we do. I think, unfortunately, I think that the North Rim, this is the time of year where they typically close anyways. And so I think we're going to hear a lot more about that come March and April when some of these places are starting to get close to reopening and finding out whether or not they can reopen. That's still, up in the air as far as how this is going to affect them come April. It's positive overall as far as the predictions for that. And it's a very strong community up there that's working together to get them to a good place. But as far as any potential accountability or investigations into any of that, I think that's kind of hit a standstill. We certainly haven't heard any follow-ups from any of our state reps or anyone in Congress or Hobbs herself either.
Did you ever hear the story about the uncle who drove his nephews up to the Grand Canyon and then drove back and then realized, we forgot to take pictures of you guys at the Grand Canyon?
Is that someone who's sitting next to me?
That is the uncle.
That's a story for
Uncle
another
of the
day.
year.
I'm saying uncle on this
day.
conversation.
Yeah,
so.
Uncle of the year. Well, thank you guys for having me.
Thanks, Nicole.
Yeah.
Love having you. Have a good day.
Okay, Nicole's coming up.
All right. Special guests are loaded on deck and ready to come. Come on in, guys.
Let's bring you guys in.
We need some levity today after the day we had.
We do.
How are you
some
guys?
Professionals in the house.
I'm Brian. That's Trenton.
Hi,
Thanks for coming in.
Nice
Hey,
to meet
Alyssa.
All right. Alyssa, Mark. Yeah, nice to see you.
Yeah. Put a face with the voice.
Yeah,
Totally.
exactly. Good to see you.
Pleasure.
Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming. And we got books. Oh,
Those
good.
are my books, yeah.
Even I can read. Got my readers on.
They're coloring books.
There we go.
No, literally, you think it's called Color My Credit.
Perfect.
Wow.
Perfect for me.
It's
There
supposed
we
to
go.
simplify the idea of credit empowerment.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Well,
what I
tell
live
us
my
a little
life
bit
by.
about that because it just seems like we are, we've left the cliff. We're in midair right now, but we don't know we're going to be crashing down on the credit crisis, financial crisis, where everyone, it seems like, is taking credit for everything, where payment plans, et cetera, financial crisis. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's an intimidating time because most people don't realize that most of the stuff that's on their credit report right now doesn't need to be repaired. It really, I mean, there are repair companies and everything like that, but it's these days we have to be empowered just to have the education that we didn't have in high school about how it really works. How does a credit card really work? You know what I mean? Just understanding, if I pay it off in full when the statement arrives, that's a week too late. Nobody cares at that point. What goes up to the credit bureaus is what your balance and limit was on the day the statement ended before it came to you. By you just changing up that day by a week, you didn't change anything. You're still going to pay it off, but you just paid it off a week early. Now your scores go through the roof because it looks like you could have borrowed $1,000, but you only borrowed $10. It's really one of those key little things that are such a small trick.
What evil genius came up with this plan?
Why don't they teach us this in school, though? Why don't they
Seriously.
have a class?
Yeah.
That simple of a thing.
finances.
We didn't
That's
learn
all the
this.
class we really need is.
Yeah,
Important one.
Yeah.
that is the most important one.
Yeah,
Seems a little rigged.
I mean, for sure though, that
Yeah.
we all are our credit score, and that's the end of it. That is it, right?
It's too bad it
We
hits
are
our
numbers.
ego so
Yeah.
much.
I remember going to try to get an apartment when I was a young man, and they're like, "Yeah, your credit score," and I'm like, What credit score? What?
What do you mean?
Why is that?
Yeah.
Don't you like me? Didn't I say hi? I'm nice to you. You know. Okay. But
So it might have been a little
football.
bit for the guarantor to be on your statements.
Dad.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, okay. So this is good stuff.
Yeah.
And why don't we learn this in school? Do you think?
I think it's partly because you have to have teachers who know that information in order to teach it.
Yeah.
And if your teachers are struggling check to check, they weren't really taught how to use their credit in the right way
True.
to not have to go in debt.
The more sinister theory, of
Yes.
course. They don't want young people
Yeah.
to control and learn how to run their finances
Maybe.
and be successful. They want people stupid. That's what the conspiracy theorists say.
Shut
No,
up.
I wouldn't dare.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Sure.
No, we're just quoting here.
And we can be like we can take credit as a scam, you know? Like I hear that. I'm on TikToks. I hear it every day. Like TikTok's a scam. I'm like, okay, listen. The credit report, if we thought about it like it was nothing more than our fantasy football team of credit and we were just playing a football game, we wouldn't think it was a scam because we would know there's a game. If I pay off my car, I really just retired a player from my team. If you retire Joe Namath from the Jets, are they ever going to win again? No, they're not.
No.
That's the whole thing,
Good
is
point.
that none of us have to be intimidated. Credit tends to be like a conversation we're really all scared of talking about.
that's
But if
true.
we make it fun, we make it interesting.
Yeah.
It's like, look, you had to get through kindergarten
Well,
to get through
tell us
this.
a little bit about that, where you
Yeah.
guys have blended the both with the education part of
Yeah.
financial
We
literacy.
try not to use the word education.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
yelling
I
at
hear
her.
it's a turnoff. I hear it's a turnoff.
Yeah, that's right.
We're trying to
comedy.
make it like this
Yeah.
is not going to be this boring, you know.
Right.
We think about it with traffic school, how they added comedy.
Do you remember
know,
that when they had comedy traffic school?
Make it a little bit more.
Right.
Okay,
A lot more crashes.
What? I missed out on that.
Yeah, they did
Yeah,
that because
right.
the idea was people didn't want to really have to deal with driving school, and if a comedian teaches it, hey, it could be fun.
It could be
that was the
funny.
idea.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
See, he doesn't like it. You like it.
I'd much rather go to traffic school with a
And
comedian.
then the cops like, why are you laughing? This
Yeah,
isn't-
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're under arrest.
Right. It's
So
over.
this is a combination comedy show and credit seminar, and then
Whoa.
we've thrown in a few extras
Whoa.
like a talk
I know.
show and a game show,
Oh
and
my
somebody's going to win a
gosh.
grand prize.
the reveal. It's
Oh
hidden.
my
A
god.
lot of it is the hidden secrets, though, because like one easy one, even for the Arizona Department of Revenue, okay, there's a site called Missing Money. Okay, it's a hub that all of the Department of Revenues across the country, that's where they put checks that never made it to you, right? So you were supposed to get the insurance refund, right? And you never got it. Well, it went to the state. The state holds it until you go in and claim it. So every day I'll say, go on Missing Money. You know, you can put in your name, you can put in your business
What's
name,
the- let
your
the people know.
roommate's
What's the-
name.
what's the website address?
Missingmoney.com.
.com?
And it's a real deal.
I bet you guys have money there. I have
I
money
bet
there.
you $20 you do.
Boom.
Yeah.
Treasure hunt.
It's amazing.
People are like, I don't have enough money to
Collect a
open
little
up
money
a
and
credit
go
card.
to Rocky Point.
Yeah.
By the way, nobody from California knows about
Goes to
Rocky
Rocky
Point.
Point.
Nobody knows about it.
Actually,
It's an
that's
Arizona
how
secret.
the story always ends for Fox 10 anchors, is in Rocky Point.
Rocky Point.
Sadly, strangely.
It's just-
but we've got
it's-
30 seconds if we could, just if
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys could tease about the comedy
So
show.
it's called
Yeah.
it's called the Mic Drop Comedy Club. It's
We'll get that
in
graphic
Chandler, Arizona, and it's this Sunday, one night only, December 7th.